Emancipator, another Secret Slayers deck. I'm gonna throw this down in the Rogue tier.
That's a really good one.
The archetype is promising. It does have a lot of weaknesses. It's somewhat luck dependent. I feel you might want to go second.
It can't beat Appaloosa.
Overall, I think that this is a fairly solid card. Probably never a card that will see tons of meta play.
This feels more like DDD than Dragon Link.
Just feels too late for Yu-Gi-Oh, at least to me.
But because these cards are so good for water, and because of this new rule change, they will be top tier after Eternity Code.
The Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game is going to become a hell of a lot more cheaper than it's been in the past recently, and especially from a competitive standpoint.
So many people tell me about a singular buyout. Some weird buyouts have been happening. It has been bought out. First editions have been recently bought out.
That is gonna bring us to my #1 deck of the January 2020 format. And if you haven't already figured it out, I'm going with Orcust.
Pendulum is the best deck of all time, baby! And best deck! Let's go!
Salamangreat. As the official Salam ambassador, I have an obligation to the Yu-Gi-Oh community to give you guys the truth. I will never lie to you, and I will not lie to you guys now. Salamangreat is the best deck.
This ban list, September, Widow Anchor to 3. And like, maybe that's it. The point I'm trying to make is that there won't be anything banned.
We're still going to get one, but it's going to be more like the last ban list where they just released a few cards from the limited list.
I still think that most of the changes will just be cards coming off of the ban list.
Topping that list, and this should surprise no one, is True King of All Calamities.
Next ban is VFD.
First of all is that, of course, True King of All Calamities.
The next card is actually VFD, the Vanisher Fathomer Disaster.
The first of which is True King of All Calamities.
I think True King of All Calamities is finally going to be banned.
I think Calamities honestly won't get banned, but I think it could get limited.
But now let's move on to the limited cards, and boy, this is a very interesting set. So first up, I have Miscellaneousaurus.
Next up is Miscellaneousaurus. I'm putting it to 1, but I would also be comfortable banning this card.
I think it can stay off the ban list, but I think it should get limited to 1.
Miscellaneousaurus might indeed get, not the X, but might be put to 1 again, maybe 2.
So I think that Konami does have to limit Miscellaneousaurus.
I do think Miscellaneousaurus is going to get limited.
Limited section for #1, we will be limiting Miscellaneousaurus.
Have you read Misk?
Moving on to limited, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Miscellaneousaurus. Now, you guys have came from every corner of the internet for me to talk about Miscellaneousaurus on the forbidden list, just for me to tell you it's not gonna happen. Y'all really thought I was gonna put it there?
Next up is Gar Dragon LP.
Last one I have here is LP.
The other big card that I know a lot of people have been complaining about for years is Gar Dragon LP.
These are the other prime targets for getting banned. I think LP should get banned.
So I think Konami is gonna actually take a pretty big swing at Dragon Link here, and I'm gonna say that they're gonna hit Gar Dragon LP.
Moving on to limits, I think Konami might hit Scarlet Sanguine on the next ban list and move it to 1 copy per deck.
Elixir Scarlet Sanguine. This is a perfect marriage for the limited list.
I think we could get away with semi-limiting Scarlet Sanguine.
Anyways, my 2 other cards are Scarlet Sanguine and Cursed Eldorlando, both to 1.
Next up, we have Salamangreat Mirage Stallion.
A card that almost feels like a no-brainer that should come off the list is Salamangreat Mirage Stallion.
And my final limit to 1, Orcust Harp Horror.
Now, next up, we've got a good one. We've got Orcust Harp Horror.
That's why I have to say a card like Orcust Harp Horror would be amazing for the Orcust strategy. This card gives the deck a huge boost.
Cards going back to 2. I only have 1 card, and that's Emergency Teleport.
Moving on to semi-limited, it only feels natural for Emergency Teleport to come from limited to semi-limited.
Now, next up, oh boy, we have Heavy Metal Foes Electromite going to 1.
Limited to 1, Electromite.
And then my last pick for the limited cards is actually Sky Striker Mobilize Engage.
Same thing can be said by Sky Striker Mobilize Engage.
Limited to 1, Sky Striker Engage.
There it is. Ideas this bad don't just come out of the ether. They don't adapt from a pile of rotting meat like scientists used to think spontaneous generation worked. They have to come from somewhere. And I've located the source of this dog shit opinion. Finally, we found patient 0 of the disease, the brainworms that causes you to think that Sky Striker Mobilize Engage can come off the fucking list. And here's where I'm going to get flamed by the comments.
Moving forward for the limited section, I have Numeron Calling to 1.
Onto the limited section now, we've got Block Dragon to 1.
Now, Skill Drain to 3 is really starting to heat up. Think about it. With Skill Drain to 3, you don't have to worry about Miscellaneous Eras.
First, we've got Tempest Magician. This card FTKs, but very inconsistently.
I think they're going to actually move one card to semi-limited, and that's Called by the Grave.
Now, the 5th and final card in my ban list is a card that I know some other people have also kind of asked for that. It makes so much sense when you think about it. It's actually Borreload Savage Dragon.
I'm going to throw in Borreload Savage Dragon to get banned.
Butterfly Dagger Elmo was hit because of, I think, some interactions between Gearfried and itself. Phoenix Blade already does its job much better.
Reasoning to 3 is another card that has not made a huge impact in the OCG.
Now, the 4th card on my ban list is actually not Link Cross, it's not Needle Fiber. Get ready because it's actually Martial Metal Marcher.
This brings me to suggestion number 5 if the previous 4 don't really take your fancy. What if we ban, and trust me, this might actually work, what if we ban, what if we ban Metal Marcher? Listen, I gave you 5 options and you said no to the first 4. Like, what do you want me to do? My hands are tied.
Okay, so don't flame me. Don't flame me. That is Masterpiece, the true Draco Slaying King. I think we can bring Masterpiece back.